Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you are doing well. We are back to regular programming on the channel. Sorry for the last couple of weeks where things have been a little bit hectic, but we are here for my round 16 team review. If you're excited for this one, hit a massive thumbs up because our round rank this week was 2,897. We had a very, very nice green arrow this week into 2,300 overall with a score of 1859. I did see on YouTube that some people have had some massive weeks. Shout out to Bales over at Fantasy Fanatics who came 55th in the game this week. Massive rank rise for him. I am very happy with a round rank of 2897. We're going to go through some really good strong parts of my side. We'll review my trades because I know I don't typically get my trades out to you guys. If you'd like me to start doing either a Thursday night sort of video where my team's at and what I'm looking at, or just a bit of an update on where I'm at, let me know in the comments. Before we get into it, let me know your trade dilemmas in the comments below this video as well. Let's get into it. My trades, the last of my three trades were Lockie Whitfield, Kai Lohman, Angus Clark out, Colby, Mills, and Liddy in. Very happy with Colby and Liddy. Not so happy with a Callum Mills. 109 from my D1, Nazaya Wanganeen Miller. I've owned him since round 3. He's only had, 3 sub-100 scores all season of me owning him as well. Very happy with Nazaya. Connor Rosie, Thursday night, 120 against Port Adelaide. Jack Sinclair, I don't really know where I sit with this one because 92% time on ground is fantastic, but 3 marks and 2 tackles is not what we want to see from Sinclair. Has an okay run where a lot of that is at Marvel. Obviously, I've had him in for the last 2 weeks, so just my luck to get him in for a 64 and a 79. I know he's prone to this, so I'm just going to stick fat with Jack Sinclair, and I'm hoping we can get some ceiling scores out of him. Joshy Dacos really should have kept the ton run going. Was on 60 odd at half time and struggled his way there in the second half. Callum Mills, the time on ground wasn't where I'd like it to be at 80% there. That was probably concerning, but the Bulldogs are a tough matchup for defenders, so I can live with a poorer score. Hopefully against Fremantle, St Kilda, North, GWS, Essendon, I think the run is relatively okay for Callum Mills moving forward, so hopefully we can get a bit closer to that 80 that is priced at, break even of 81. So hopefully we can start getting some 85, 90 scores out of Callum Mills. Colby just getting it done post-buy, roll change, going pretty much at 95 or so since the buy. And I think Dogs is going to be a hard matchup, but Melbourne, Sydney, Geelong, St Kilda is not a bad run. He actually has a decent run home with GWS and Richmond before the Crows in that last game of the season. So very happy holding Colby. Break even of 43. So before we know it, he might even be priced up around 82, 83. And then we can look to upgrade him later down the line. Midfield line, big concerns. Adam Chera, again, Carlton just struggled big time. Normally takes his 4 or 5 marks a game. Had none against Port Adelaide. Had some attention in this game as well. 59 is probably on the very low end of what you're going to get from Adam Chera, and we're going to talk about him a little bit later. Brayshaw, Dacos, Dawson, just keep on going. They're not going anywhere from my side. Very happy owning these 3 boys. Tom McCarthy is probably going to be, Logan Evans times 100. Everyone loved having Logan last year in their defense, and Tom McCarthy is going to be that. Bont, I brought him in here for the Hawthorn game, and, we've seen sort of all sides of Bont. 90s, 120s, 50s and 70s. I think the North, Adelaide, Brisbane, Essendon run is actually a good run for Bont. I don't see any tags coming pretty much for the rest of the season for him, which is going to be nice. So hopefully Bont can just tick away, go forward a little bit, help Darcy out with that forward structure, kick a few goals and sort of hit that 100 mark for us, priced at 93 with a high break even. I actually think he's not the worst buy this week if you don't have him, but he is a bit of a hard watch from time to time. Nettie Long, I'm keen to see what he does against Carlton and Gold Coast before sort of Fremantle, which will be tough, but then Richmond and Brisbane. So he's a bit up and down for Ned Long, but I'm happy to roll with that. The ruck lineup is not fantastic at the moment. Sherry gets Timmy English this week, and then my boys play each other. But then he goes Grundy. This is Sherry's run. Gets Grundy, but then gets a green matchup against Geelong, but then gets Marshall, and then has a decent run, but also has Riley O'Brien. Where Gorn gets Riley O'Brien and Sherry, but then he goes TDK, Marshall, Flynn, English, Lloyd Meek, and Darcy Cameron. So Gorn is someone I'm happy just to ride with. I don't think I'm going to spend any trades on my ruckman, but definitely don't have the optimal rucks. I think Marshall and Grundy are probably the two to have. And then forward of the ball is where I'm actually a lot happier with my side. Obviously, Cooper Lord's not in my best 22. It's a Bailey Smith. And if you have Smith, Kennedy, Jackson, Myers, Daniel, Petrarca, it is far from the worst position to be in. So, sitting at 2,300, we are in a very, very interesting position. I'm going to do another video about my trade targets as well for the channel. You can see my team value from last week was 23.926 million. So just a shade under 24 million on the season of team value. But this is where my side is sitting at the moment. My early trade plans is a Cooper Lord out to a Harry Ralston. So this is obviously team dependent on what comes out on Thursday night. But with Lockie Whitfield not in the side Friday as well, I think GWS is going to be sort of unlikely to make too many wholesale changes. So I think Harry Ralston will play. It looks like Cogs is going to play in the VFL. So I think he's still going to have that high CBA role, which, if he can pop 70s out for us at 327, he'll just be a nice cash cow. But that allows me to go Caleb Daniel to Nick Martin, leaving 84 grand in the bank, leaving my forward line, which almost looks complete in my eyes, of Nick Martin, Matthew Kennedy, Bailey Smith, Luke Jackson, Grind Myers, and Christian Petrarca at F6, which very, very nice. I've got two playing forwards on the bench with Taru and May, who don't look like they're going to go anywhere anytime soon. Leaving, I'll call it one rookie on field. Obviously, like Colby's not a premium, but he's also not a rookie. Ned Long, almost at 900k. I know he's at the 106 break even, but playing Carlton this week, this could be a nice matchup for him. So he'll at least be around the 870, 860 mark. And then I've got a decision to make on whether I upgrade him. Adam Chera, same thing. He's up around $1 million as well, but playing Collingwood. My early thoughts for my side will be that next week we're looking at another, downgrade, which would be a Zach Johnson with a break even of 8. So even if he does, if he even plays poorly, he still should at least hit his break even, and we probably still could get a couple of weeks of decent cash gen out of him. But Zach Johnson down to then get Adam Chera up to a Jai Caldwell is probably what I'm looking at. So they're the two moves I'm looking at this week. It's Caleb Daniel to Nick Martin, or it's Adam Chera to Jai Caldwell. So get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts below on what you would do. If you've enjoyed this team review, please hit that thumbs up on the video. There's a few options that I'm considering as well, but we're going to talk about them in the next video. You can see my team value is up to 24.103 million because I've used a bit more of that money in the bank that I've got. But if you need some help with your trades, get them in the comments. I'm active in those comments. So mash a huge thumbs up on this video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon for my trade targets for this week.